Hello, everyone. A good gauge of public opinion for me is when I do a piece of content on a subject, and then I go and have a read of the comments which you leave in reply to that content. You get a good gauge of how people are feeling and what they're thinking. And generally, most people on this channel are very like minded. I did a video a few days ago now about a comment Sadiq Khan made in The Guardian, of all things. Uh, it was along the lines of the changes made to voting procedures means that, his chances of getting re-elected as mayor of London could be scuppered. And in effect, it's a two-horse race between him and the Tories. Now, this whole two-horse race charade comes out to play every time there is an election of some kind. In this case, the mayor election's coming up in May, but it also comes out in the general elections. And what they're saying to the general population is, you don't have a choice. You either vote for me or vote for that one over there with the red tie. We know in this day and age, they're pretty much all the same thing, a busted flush, but we won't go into that now. What people have to realize is the system no longer works, or it doesn't work the way it should. Therefore, we can take that vote and we can put it somewhere else en masse where it will do some good and therefore break the duck. Many people won't because they're worried that a vote for one will be a waste and it'll put, maybe Khan back in office. And there's a very high percentage of people that still stay at home. You made some lovely comments on this subject, and I want to bring them up and go through some of them with you now. So here we go. Here's the video, and you can see the thumbnail there. Diddy Smith. Did I get too many D's in the middle there? Sorry if I did. If you get out and vote, you could shock them with your change. That's absolutely right. Get out and vote. Vote for, what's here, and make a difference. Because if you don't, you're just giving them tacit agreement to carry on and do what they like. Don, he's a horrible man. God help Londoners if they get a Tory. Exactly. As I said before, busted flush. System needs to change. Grant, if Khan gets back in, the people will lose their minds. I dread to think what will happen. You've got you're absolutely right, aren't you? You've got the two-tier policing thing that we've got going on at the moment. Different groups of varying demographics behaving in certain ways and rubbing each other's noses up the wrong way. It's a cooking pot ready to blow. And we saw just in the last couple of days this thing with that big announcement on the train station platform, wasn't it? That was another thing that caused uproar. It's division by political means and division by, well, racial means, I suppose. Butsy, interesting. It's just you and Paz, and you followed him, but it's good to see you both out and about. I assume it's you're referring to the way the videos are done, the walkabouts. I tell you, Paz started doing walkabouts, and I noticed his views absolutely skyrocketed. And I thought, well, you could be onto something there. And it's funny, when you go out and walk, you think a lot more clearer than you do if you're stuck in, well, the garage like I am now. And not only that, the health benefits are self-explanatory. I think I lost 4.5 pounds last week, actually, when I checked. So it's worth doing. And it gives a bit of variety as well. As I say, it's a spice of life. When I first started the channel, I used to do everything in the car. So I was out here anyway. So I'm just varying what I'm doing, really. And I'm led to believe other YouTubers follow suit and do walkabouts as well. So it's a popular thing. And with the change of thumbnails as well, make it a bit more personable, things have improved. Thanks for the comment, by the way. David Adams, what annoyed me was that they did a poll of 46% of people support Khan. WTF. Oh, I would wipe my backside on The Guardian. I wouldn't. I think too much of my backside. Patsy, if voting really worked, we wouldn't be allowed to do it. I've heard that old chestnut many a time. But the problem is with voting is people aren't coming out because they don't think it makes a difference no matter what they do. Heart Mangers, voting for the lesser of two evils will still leave us with evil. Absolutely. We've got to get out there and we've got to get our point across. We've got to get our voice heard, haven't we? Roy Sinclair, earpiece? That won't stop wind noise. You can't stop wind noise on a phone. You need to re-angle it, re the wind, but you would need to know what wind noise is a problem. Maybe use an earpiece. Funny how America can act like a dictator. Scotland does not have that stupidity. Plenty of other kinds of stupidity. No, just not that one. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. With the roads, I live, I think, 5-10 minutes walk. I'm on the beach, and there's a natural amount of wind that goes up. There's about 3 or 4 roads side by side, which are near me, and they're about a mile long each one, and they all go straight down to the beach. One of them's got a pub at the end, so you can guess which one's my favourite. And you do get wind noise, unavoidable, but I've listened to the footage myself, and it's not too bad. Ray and Leslie, hi Andy, here's food for thought. With all governments pushing the fact we should all be gay, have your bits chopped off, and not be heterosexual, who's going to have the babies? So if that's the case, the human race will be extinct within 100 years. Food for thought. I don't know if I'll still be here. Rosie Posey, if you don't vote, you have no right complaining about how bad the country is. Please vote Khan out. And in a general election, we must all vote for reform if we are ever to make this country ours again. You know, I saw an interesting turn of opinion. And I mentioned Paz again. He had a phone conversation with somebody regarding Richard Tice, regarding reform, and it changed his mind. I don't know what was said. I mean, I have 2 concerns with reform. Number one, Richard Tice, some of the things that he's done just come across as a bit establishment to me, and that's what we want to get away from. Reform must mean reform. No ifs, no buts. And also, they can't be a safety net for establishment politicians. Again, reform must be reform. Otherwise, you could end up with something like Tory 2.0. That's unacceptable in my view. But they seem to be the credible alternative to a broken system. So I think they'll do well, but I don't think they'll do well enough. That's the problem. It might take a couple of goes at this. Paul Thomas, tell them to walk with you. They would walk long. Ian Kane, no mayor should be allowed to do more than 2 terms in office. I don't think any publicly elected official should be allowed any more than perhaps a couple of terms. I mean, you look at Russia. How many is that now? Mr. P. Doff, this election is not to vote a party in, it's to vote 2 parties out. Sack the lot of them. We must not let Captain Hindsight and Labour or Roland Rat with his Tories in. Roland Rat, I love it. Was it Jim Davison called him Spock? Mr. Spock. I think that's an insult to the late, great Leonard Nimoy, personally. But there you go. They've all got their names, haven't they? Anyway, last comment. Christopher's assaulted stuff. Hello. The government should have removed Khan a long time ago for the willful damage he's done to London. They could remove him for this, but they choose not to. They must be benefiting from what he's doing in some way. Well, there's lots of tie-ins, isn't there, Christopher? Because one of the key things that gets thrown at me again and again is the whole ULEZ debacle, whereby you blame Khan for expanding, and then all of a sudden, oh, the Tories started it, and there's this piece of paper doing the rounds where Khan's promised millions of pounds in return for a guarantee the ULEZ zone will be expanded. There's all these backhand deals and all sorts of stuff going on all the time. That's politics for you. Like everything, we'll have to wait and see. We can only do our bit. Thank you very much, everyone. Some of your comments there, which are great. If you want to see another one of my videos, here's one here, just popped up on the screen. Make sure you hit the like button, share the hell out of my stuff, and obviously subscribe to the channel. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.